get dressed, I leave. I'm gone 3 days and 3 nights. And at that time, we lived exactly 11 miles from the airport that you guys passed coming here.
Oh.
When I came back 3 days later, there was only 22 additional miles on the car.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the airport.
But you have no memory on where you went?
I went to D.C. This is when I went to D.C. and did a termination job on this individual.
Now, what year was that?
1985.
So this is quite a while ago.
Yeah. And here's something that I'll tell you guys, I didn't want to put on the tape. I'm sitting in a Mexican restaurant, very nice 2-story Mexican restaurant, and I hear somebody laughing. This was before the president now was the governor of Texas. I look over, and there's George Jr. sitting at the bar with the Secret Service bodyguards, drunk as a skunk, with the Secret Service trying to get him to calm down. Now, that's when I snapped awake. I don't remember driving there. And I'm looking around, and where the hell am I at? But yet there he is. I had one impulse. Kind of terminate. And I had a gun in my pocket. And for whatever reason, I fought the impulse down, and I didn't kill him.
In other words, you remember who he is now, but you didn't know who he was when you were there?
I didn't have a clue.
He was just some guy who was getting drunk with Secret Service around him.
Exactly. I did not have a clue who he was. Now, I'm sitting there watching the news sometime later when the governor of Texas has announced his bid to run for the presidency, and I look at him, I'm like, holy.
Oh, this was before he became president?
Yes.
I got it.
Years before.
So in that context, maybe it makes even more sense.
Mm-hmm. And it's even scarier.
What about underground bases? Do you think you've ever been in an underground base?
I know where one is, right here in the state. When I was in my mostly late teens, okay, I remember the farmhouse that we lived on was situated in a valley. And there were old logging roads that went all the way around the valley. I had a good 5-mile run up and down the mountains on a good graded road. There was also some worked out strip mines over to the southeast of there. Well, one day I'm running out through there, and I decide to drop down the hill and go over and look around. As soon as I do, I can feel the vibrations in the ground. And I drop down, and I put my ear to the ground, the way my grandfather, taught me how to do. And I get up, and this little voice says, "Get the hell out of here." As I'm running back up the hill, a chopper lands.
Wow.
I didn't go back anymore. But a couple of days later, 2 things happened at once. Okay, my father had a friend. His name was Paul Preston. Paul Preston was somebody, and still is somebody, that I would terminate with extreme prejudice. I don't care to say that. When I was 14, we were getting ready to work the field. We had a cash farm, and I was working on a tractor. We lived about a mile up a dirt road, off the main road, and I can sense a vehicle coming before it's halfway up. I stop and I look out, okay, and I see this grayish silver van coming up into the driveway. Brand new. Has a UHF antenna on top. I've never seen anything like this. Again, this is Kentucky in the mid-'70s. Nobody had that kind of money. This was before the coal boom, before the energy crisis, before people made $20 an hour. People were lucky to make minimum wage, okay? And this guy gets out of this van, and I notice it has Texas tags. I had heard my dad talk about this guy. They were childhood friends. And then this was confirmed to me later on that they were in the CIA together, that Paul Preston was actually station chief in more than one area. But he gets out of the van, calls me by name. I never met the guy before to my knowledge. And in that instant, I had two thoughts. One was run, because this guy's bad news, this guy's dangerous. Run. The other was take him out, kill him before he kills you. Okay? I'm only 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, my hair was longer then than it is now. And my dad comes down from the house. And they do the handshake, slap on the back, huggy, all this kind of stuff. Well, Mr. Preston looks at my dad, gets real serious, says, we got to go talk. No, my dad changes. His demeanor changes. So they go away for about 20 minutes. And all this time, I got the tool chest. I'm getting the tractor going, spring plow, all that kind of stuff. 20, 30 minutes later, Paul Preston comes back down from the house. He ain't talking to me then. He's in a real bad mood. Gets in the van, leaves. I barely saw my dad the rest of that day, because this is early morning because it's still cool. You didn't want to be around him the rest of the day. Okay, he was one ticked off Irishman. Well, that night, okay, my mom had a habit of sitting on the front porch at night. And I slept upstairs. She came in that night about 10, 11 o'clock, screaming for my dad that there's something over top of the house. And by the time he went out, it was gone. And I could hear the whole conversation. She said it was bigger than the house, was round, had lights all the way around it. I didn't know anything about UFOs. I knew nothing about that. I knew farming. I knew martial arts. I knew how to fight. I knew how to hunt, how to track, et cetera, et cetera. I knew nothing about anything like that. So the next night, this happens again. The third day, something happens to me. Okay? All the time I work and I train. I work and I train. So I'm going 12 hours a day every day. I worked out even harder than I had ever done before. And I think the reason being is to go to bed early, because that's exactly what I did. I went to bed early. That night, I go to bed. I'm laying there. Don't know how long. But I feel like I'm on fire when I snapped awake. I can't move. All I can do is open my eyes. The whole upstairs is full of light. And I can see a bipedal figure standing by the bed. I can see a head, I can see the arms, I can see the legs. That's it. And I know it's talking to me. It's telling me something. And the next thing I know, my dad is shaking my shoulder because my brothers saw the light and they thought the upstairs was on fire. That's all I remember. I don't remember anything again until I'm almost 18.
Meaning no memories between the age of 14 and the age of 18.
Right. I didn't get my driver's license until I was almost 18. I should have had them at 16. I didn't get them until I was almost 18 because I wasn't around to get them.
Do you remember what the being looked like other than 2 arms, 2 legs?
That's all I could see. A torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. Not an oval-shaped head, but a head-shaped head. A normal shaped head.